All right. I'm excited to help my clients grow at Tim Forrest Consulting. They achieve millions of dollars in sales, thousands of new locations that they work with. Big part of our work is actually to constrain their activity, and it's in 6 big areas that we actually constrain growth. People are often surprised with this, but it makes sense and it works, and we've got verified client success to demonstrate that it works. My clients are unusually successful. They add millions of dollars in revenue, thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in sales. We've even have some projects that have exceeded $100 million in sales. And what some people might find interesting and surprising to many in the food industry is that a big part of Tim Forrest Consulting is constraint. That's right. We work with constraints. There's 6 big constraints that we apply to our client projects. The first one is tight territory. The second one are margin constraints. The third one are pricing constraints, expansion constraints, direct selling constraints, and be original or innovative constraints, which are so important. So let's talk about each individual constraint and how it works and what it is that we're doing when we do this. So the first constraint that I apply to my clients is territory. And I'll just share with you a real quick story. A friend of mine, Jonathan, was in 500 stores in his region. And then in about a period of about 18 months was able to add over 4,500 new stores to his business. It created massive stress on his system. He ignored the original 500 stores, which is where all his profit was coming from, and ended up having to close his business. He's no longer in the food business today because of the failure of that specific business. He just grew too quickly, and he didn't have a business model that was duplicated and spreading out in the region. He had been much more successful to stay in his tight territory, and I like to limit a territory from 64 to 250-mile radius of their manufacturing location or offices, depending on where they're located in relationship to the market, and to grow the business from there and to have a successful business model, and then to duplicate that business model. What Jonathan was doing was not duplicating his business model in his market, but yet just going after massive growth for the sake of growth. Margin. When I initially work with a project or product, I can see very quickly. Now, prior to growth, I like to see 40 to 50% margin for a product. It's going to be very expensive to grow, and we're going to need every penny of that margin ever in order to grow the business along with additional investment. And so it's really important. That also tells me that the food maker has identified an opportunity that's worthy of going after and pushing through the market. And it's really these high margin products on the front end that are the ones that are capable of making it to the finish line. Future doors outside of your region are much more expensive to get into and to be successful in than the ones in your home market. And so it's just really important that you have that margin on the front end. You don't grow into margin. You have margin to begin, and you grow the business around the existing margin and then go forward, knowing that it's going to take every bit of the margin as you grow in scale to go forward. Pricing. My clients do not compete on price. We're innovative. We're bringing new value to the category, and as such, I want us to bring the most value to the category and in turn to be the highest price in the category and to lead the category. And that's one of the advantages. We're leading the buyers and the categories to higher pricing because we're bringing so much value. Expansion. There is so much opportunity that we're passing by when we expand into new markets. If you look at the number of consumers and shoppers in your home market, I like to think about what is my percentage of stomach or percentage of the population of my home state and or the territory that we're currently marketing to. What are our sales numbers in that area? And so instead of expanding and just thinking of the business as new stores, I like to think of it as an understanding of the data of the people that are there. So how many people are in your state? How many people are in your market? Let's grow there, not in the stores that we're working with. And not just adding stores. This is not a store business. In my view, this is a consumer population business. And one of the tactics that we use to get there are stores. Another one would be the internet, direct to consumer. It could be direct to consumer at shows, or it could be the farmers markets. It could be lots of other opportunities. It could be through restaurants. But again, the idea is that we're working with consumers and shoppers. We're not in the store business. Our job is not to supply stores. It's to go one step further and think of those shoppers. And if you start thinking of your territory as consumers and shoppers, it's going to change the dynamics of how you manage the business, how you grow the business, and how you think about it. As a matter of fact, when you start thinking about shoppers, it really precludes you from thinking about fast growth, because you've got to duplicate those marketing efforts to reach all those consumers as you go into new markets. And that's been a massive, massive benefit to my clients, along with a big constraint, because so many people and so many of the companies that I'm aware of, they're having problems with their business. They want to grow, just simply get new clients to grow their business, to solve it, instead of fixing the business problems that really are central to their business and their business model, as compared to just running after new dollars, running after new revenue that's not going to produce the margin that they anticipate. It's not going to be as good of a help to the business. It's not going to be the Band-Aid they think it is. It actually, just as we're talking about this right now, it's actually the reason so many food businesses have gone out of business, is because they've been able to expand so quickly. Just like with Jonathan, he wasn't constrained, and he ended up growing his business to such a point that he's out of business. Direct sales. One of my secrets, or one of the tactics that I work with our clients, is that I have them do direct selling. Several decades ago, the International 7-Eleven Group ended up buying 7-Eleven here in the United States when they were having financial troubles. And they forced everyone, the entire, even though they were computer driven, they had computer inventories, they forced everyone in the company to stop and begin by hand, using pen and paper, to take inventory of the stores. And they wanted the chain to gain a much better understanding of the inventory and the business and what's actually happening, as compared to having it all in the computers. And my philosophy on this is similar, in that I ask my founders, I ask the food businesses that I work with, to sell directly to consumers, directly to shoppers. When we do this at fairs, we do this at events, do it at ball games, literally college games, professional games. We do this at farmers markets. We do it anywhere that we can get a booth, get in front of large groups of people, and sell the product directly. So what's the benefit? Well, the benefit is immediate cash flow. But the reason that I'm pushing this is I want them to hear the consumers. I want them to take notes. I want them to understand exactly what it takes for them to sell a consumer, and then I want them to understand why the consumer is buying from them. What is it they're excited about? What is it they're interested in? What are the features of their product that they're so interested in that they're willing to buy the product from them at this event directly from them? And this activity, when you do it for at least 2 months, do it for at least 8 weeks, multiple chain of events where you can get in front of these shoppers and consumers. This is going to inform your future marketing, your future decisions, your future branding choices as you build the business. With this as a foundation to your business, you're going to be able to use this information and make wiser choices and decisions as you go forward. And this one act has resulted in millions and millions of dollars in new sales, and it's allowed people to be very successful with online marketing, with video marketing, with website design, with advertising, everything that it takes to talk to the consumer on a scaled format, because they've done the work and they have the understanding at the direct to consumer level, and they've learned it directly from shoppers and consumers. And it's the same thing with demos. Doing lots of demos will have a similar benefit, but it's not identical, but very, very similar to selling direct to consumer. And the last one is be original. So everything about my system and the constraints uh, that we're forcing doesn't work if you're not bringing new value, if you're not bringing innovation, and if you're not original in the category. There's no way for you to lead the category in value if you're copying the leaders of the category. And so that's why it's so important that the products I work with are original, they're innovative. Oftentimes, some of the products I've worked with don't even have a they're so new they don't have a category. So what do you think? Those are my 6 constraints that I work with my clients: tight territory, margin, pricing, expansion timing, direct selling, and then be original. So those are the big 6 for me on constraints. It's counterintuitive, but it's the way that I help to grow, to scale, to expand, and help my food entrepreneurs and food makers get so big so quickly, and to not fall prey to the statistics of being out of business. 90% of food businesses don't make it, and we've been very fortunate at Tim Forrest Consulting to have so much success with our clients. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hey, if you've got an innovative product, or you're curious and have questions about what we talked about today, jump on my schedule at timforrestmarkets.com. Would love to talk to you and learn more about the item that you're bringing to market, that you're growing, and have a great day. Thank you very much for watching.